Good morning, friends. Welcome to the 14th episode of State of the Market Live. Today is 23rd June 2022. It is our weekly Nifty and Bank Nifty futures expiry. It's a beautiful sunny Thursday morning. Let's see what markets are telling us. First, let's look at SGX, what it is doing. So basically, SGX is traveling within yesterday's range. Basically, this is yesterday's range in both New York as well as Asia levels. So we are trading within that range and doing nothing. This is a very small range that it is moving between 500 and 430, around 70 points. That's it. That means nothing has disturbed the market. What is driving move, the silent move, is a subdued sentiment in SPX, which is S&P 500 futures. Basically, S&P 500 futures or the benchmark US indices. So if they move a lot, we can have ripples in Nifty and Bank Nifty. So yesterday, I told you that the market needs to break. That means S&P 500 futures need to break 3822 for any bullishness. Above this, I will not try to short the market. If we close above 3822 on an hourly or daily basis, I will not short any market, because this can be a level where short covering will begin both in the US markets as well as in our markets. Yesterday, in S&P 500, sellers took towards the day before's range, but they could not find any force there. Buyers repelled the market, and suddenly they came towards the resistance. So basically, both buyers and sellers were very strong, and we saw buyers thinking about short covering just below 3822. You see that as the level is nearing 3822, there'll be a lot of action. So basically, if we close above 37.85, we can go up towards 3822 and then go up like this. However, what happens is sellers are, yesterday I told you that sellers are lurking in this zone. So they repeatedly beaten it down and closed at around 37.63. So basically, we are closing at the same range. So 37.70, that is 37.60 levels are where the market is getting closed. And today in Asia, this is the Asia trade in S&P 500 futures. And here also, we are not able to find any momentum on the upside or on the downside. So if S&P 500 futures break below 36.93, I'll be careful about our market. So when you are trading Nifty and Bank Nifty futures, keep looking at S&P 500. Mostly retail traders look at Dow Jones. I would prefer S&P 500 because this is the one which is traded by professional rather than Dow Jones. Dow Jones is generally looked at by retailers, retail investors and retail traders. But professional traders focus on what is happening in S&P 500 because it is the most liquid contract in the world. So now that we have set the basis in both SGX and SGX Nifty and S&P 500 futures, that means we do not have negativity or we do not have any positivity. As long as the day highs and day lows are broken, we should continue to have a neutral view on our market. So what is going to happen today? Let's first look at a broad look of what is happening since last week. So since last week, we balanced in a 3-day range, and then suddenly we caved in and fell during expiry. So this is last week's expiry. This is a very important range. You see that this range was marked by large players. So they have marked it, and after that, on Friday and Monday, we traded below this day's range, and day before yesterday, we got into that range. Again, that was beaten down yesterday. So for today, this particular range is very important. This particular range is going to be very important for expiry. So I will not look outside this range for trading today unless the market moves big time. So basically, when we are going into the market, you need to have a view of where to trade and where to not. So this is going to be my zone 1. So I'll think about any trades only beyond these levels. So basically these are 15,786. I mentioned to you 15,791 is a key level. Like if you draw a trend line like this, we'll get a range where we need to break. So basically let's have a look at that. Basically, if I draw a trend line, you see that I need to break at least 750 range here, and then 790 range to go look for higher levels. So above 860, I will be worried as an options seller. If I am an options buyer, I will find momentum around these levels. If there is rejection, we are going to trade a lot in this zone for today. Now, let's see what are the situations on the downside. Since the broader trend is downside, I will have preference on the downside. As the market is moving down, I will check for break of key levels here, which yesterday I mentioned that as 15,360 and 15,317. So this is the zone where I will look for continuation trades on the downside. So basically this is going to be my zone 2. This is going to be my zone 2. Just a minute. This is going to be my zone 2. Now, any reversal on the upside, I'm not expecting a break of 217 today, but if at all it happens, we need to look for levels at the bottom. Let's see if we can find any levels at the bottom so that we'll be ready with any information if the market decides to do otherwise. So basically this zone 2 is the most probable zone. So if at all we have to fall, this is the zone where it will take a lot of support. If we break this particular level, which is like 260 or 217, basically I look for 217, then we may have to look for 15,132 and 15,14,973. But these are the exigency levels. Basically, I will look for these levels only if there is a deep gash right from the open. If we open here and keep on falling and break here after kind of some decent run and then fall, that is when I am going to worry about this zone. Otherwise, this is out of question today. If at all there is a break at 217, I look for bottom levels. On the upside, what are the levels that we have to look for? Let's see. So basically, on the upside, we need to look for key levels, which could be around. So once we, again, zone 1 and zone 2 are going to be high probable levels. So if at all I break these two levels, the first thing I have to look for is 15,880 and then 16,070. So this is how I am going to look for. If there is any large change in the market sentiment, then only I will look for zone 3. Otherwise, zone 3 is going to be the least possible option for me today. So my strategies today are going to be mostly based on these 3 zones in Nifty. So now we have a proper plan. Either the market will, the most probable thing is the market will expire within this zone, this particular zone 1. If it breaks zone 1, we can go to zone 2. We may end at the low of zone 2. If at all it breaks, that is an outside chance that I will take and I will respond at that time. If there is any chance of break on the upside, I will go to zone 3. This is the least possible zone. Now let's see what is happening in Bank Nifty. In Bank Nifty too, the situation is same, but the distribution is more clear. If you look at Nifty, the distribution is fine. There is a lot of action that needs to happen here. In Bank Nifty, the distribution is clear, and we need to again trade in this particular zone. I'm going to look for a trade in this particular zone. So basically, let's look at the zone, which is, this is going to be my zone 2. Let's mark it so that we can go back during the market hours and check. And the reason why I mark these zones is when we enter the market at 9:15, our mind is totally irrational. We do not have the capability to control and think logically. So you need to have a plan before you go. You should not draw your charts while the market is happening. Unless the market goes into some uncharted territories at fresh lows and fresh highs, you should not draw your chart and keep your mind open for all kinds of trades. Let's mark our zone 2. Again, I'm looking for downside mostly, and this is going to be my zone 2. Mostly we will expire within zone 1 and zone 2. That is my base cases. However, if there is a fall, I will be ready with a decent level on the downside to trade for. So this is my zone 2. And if there is any fall, what are the levels that I need to look for? So on the downside, I will look for a break of 32,156. So this is when I will get very active on the downside. That means the fall can be, the gamma action after 12:30 will be more if we break 32,156, and then I will see some intermittent action. I will look at order flow and other tools to look for some intermittent action. There is nothing. These are the levels that I have marked at the bottom. However, if the market chooses to go towards the upside, for example, if it breaks these levels like 33,386, which is around 33,400, that is where we are kind of looking at a lot of action, and 33,690, this is the level which I have indicated to you many times. You see that here sellers are coming repeatedly. You see this, sellers are repeatedly coming at this level. So I will, the kind of, if sellers are weakened here today, this is the zone that I will be looking for. This is the zone I will be looking for. So if there is a break of this, I can look for even levels which are around 30 until 34,455. Now, how do you mark levels in intermittently when we go up? So basically, if we break 33,728, the intermittent level that I will look for is 33,994, which is like 34,000, and then 34,455. So I need to be careful on the levels on the upside also. So that is my zone 3, which is least probable zone. However, I will mark it because it is expiry and we can have any kind of large moves today. So we need to be careful about that. That's it for Bank Nifty. So most probable zone is zone 1, and we can go to zone 2, which is the next probable zone. Otherwise, if at open, if sellers are put in action, that means if they are confronted, we may look at zone 3 as well. So during the market, I will keep on juggling the probabilities around these zones. That is what a professional trader does. Let's see what is happening in Reliance. Reliance has a beautiful setup here that is happening. So basically, this is a daily chart, but I have compressed it to look at weekly so that I want to see what is a clear trend that is happening. Now you see that if you look at this, so I'll explain what these lines are basically. So once we are breaking these lines, you see how Reliance has continuously traded at these levels. Just 1 minute. Let me see where my circle is. Yes. So you see that this is the line where the market is seeing a lot of action. So we are again at this juncture. Please hold a minute before we find what is happening there, let's see what is going to happen today. So again, we have formed 3 red bar wicks. You see that here we have seen a lot of downside, but this time it is a bit different. We see this is a daily chart. We'll remove the bubbles so that we can focus on what is happening. Now, if you look at the daily chart, you see that how Reliance has closed below 200-day moving average on a SMA basis. That means 200-day SMA. Now, what I am seeing is for an intraday trader, these are the levels which needs to be very calculative. That means we can see a lot of action around these levels, which is 2500 to around 2450. So on an intraday basis, if the market is negative, we are going to see a lot of action. Now forget these lines because they are daily levels. So I have marked the zone between. So this is the level I am going. So any open above this and break of yesterday's low can lead to a 40-point run. Unless large players make one single bar here, I am looking for a lot of negativity. So Reliance is breaking 200-day SMA and EMA. So if it breaks EMA, there can be further pain. So this is the stock that I will keep in mind today. However, if the market is trying to go up or gap up, I will look for positivity around yesterday's high. So almost we have a trade zone of 50 points. Below this, we have 50 points, and above 50 points, I will look for further other zones. Let's see other stocks, what is happening with HDFC Bank. So again, let's shift to daily. So always look for higher time frame to get any level. So we do not have any action here. However, if HDFC Bank futures goes below 1330, so below yesterday's close, we can see the move around this week levels. You can see move around this week's levels. Otherwise, on the upside, we need to break 1354. Let's see what is happening in HDFC. So in HDFC as well, we are seeing the same kind of action. So any move below this week's levels of 2140 is going to bring 2060, and we need to break this week's levels of 2190 towards higher levels. One thing I have been focusing on is Kotak, which is showing a lot of traction on the downside. Let me remove the previous drawings and see. So on a daily time frame, we do not have moving averages near. So only Reliance is the one which is near the moving averages. So a couple of weeks ago, I told you that Reliance has to go down a lot before coming up, and that is what is happening. So that's it for today, guys. I think we have covered 4 stocks, Nifty and Bank Nifty. Hope this will be a lot of help today and for your safe trading. So if you have liked this video, please like, subscribe, and comment in the feedback section, and please share it with your friends. Have a great day. Trade safely. Bye bye.